Broadway star, Disneyland alum, and podcast host Salisha Thomas, aka Salisha Thomas Weiss, aka
AKA
Salisha Weiss.
Weiss.
People who feel like outsiders that come together, and all of a sudden every outsider is no longer an outsider. So
Yes, I think every introvert has their person where they're like, okay, I can be comfortable to talk to other people because I got my person here. So you have what, 3,000 people who found their person, so they can talk to everybody because everyone's their person. They get it.
yeah.
And then it was really a magical moment because
So we didn't do hot seat questions.
Oh, hot
Ooh.
seat, spotlight, hot seat. We got to think of a jingle for that.
Oh gosh, we need a sting.
Spotlight.
Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Oh, I like that. She's our jingle girl now. We got.
All right, what you got, Lisa?
If you could make any place disappear, what would it be?
The game was changed. I couldn't make a living doing what I did. Like, Broadway did not exist. And so I had to think differently for the first time ever. I've never had a plan B. I've never thought what I'm going to do if I don't do, I've just never even thought those things. And so it really helped me to, like, I don't know, what is the, like, expand.
Like broaden?
Yeah,
Expand.
broaden. How I look at the world, how I look at, like, my worth, my identity. Like, I've learned my lesson now. Don't tie your identity up into what you do or one thing, even, because if anything happens to that one thing, who are you now?
Like, she's so fucking cool. Do you ever have moments where you're like, I'm fucking cool? Like, do you have those moments for you? Like, yes, I did that.
You know, Agnes, it's like such an interesting question because, like, I've just recently started to check in and, like, kind of take in, like, what I have done, because it's so easy to be so hard on myself. Like, I got to do this. I still got to do this. I got to do this. You know, back in the day, it's like if I ever got to go home for the holidays, it was because I was unemployed. And I would be really insecure about that. Even though I wanted to be home, it was like, oh, so what show are you in next? And I'm like, I don't know. And now, like, after taking a look at, wait, I've actually accomplished a few of my big goals. Going home means I'm not in a Broadway show, but there's a more empowered tone behind it. I like to keep supportive people around me. I like to support the people who I am around. Like, they hype me up, and it's hard for me to hear it. But I think, like, instead of playing the comparison game and looking at the people who I'm like, oh man, that's so cool, I wish I could do that. Oh my goodness, she gets everything. How, like, instead of playing that game and actually being like, wait a minute, that was a bucket list item. I did that. Like, it is, I think it's a healthy thing to do. I'm not one to be big on egos. I don't like that. I don't like working with people with big egos. I don't like to have one myself. But I do think that there is something to be said about having that balance of thinking that you are the shit.
Disney princess mashup. If you could add 2 Disney princesses to be the ultimate Salisha princess, who would it be?
Oh, right. We look at everybody else thinking everybody else around me is doing everything in the world except for me. No, that is not true. Just like we look at other people, it's so easy to get on Instagram and see everyone's highlight reel and feel left out. It is so easy to do that. People are also doing that, looking at you like, oh my goodness, look at, they said they were going to do this thing and then they did it. And like, whatever that is for you, how you look at others, there is somebody, at least somebody, looking at you the same kind of way. And again, I like to warn against the big ego, but like, I think it is a good thing to look at yourself how other people might look at you. There is no, a race. Where's your racing to? Where you going? Like, we're on this earth. We do a thing. We get old. We move to the next phase of consciousness. Like, there is no, you did it. you have to set what that is for you, what makes you happy, what makes you, in back in the day, like before we had cell phones and stuff, it was never about like it was always about just living your own life. And now it's so much easier to watch other people live their lives. And it doesn't feel good. I don't think yeah, how many
That's a lot.
Christmases did I miss?
That's a
How
lot.
like I still am beating myself up for missing my parents' retirement party. Like and at the time it was just like my sweet dad, he's always like, you're a working girl, you go out there and you get him. He's always supported my career. But now having a different focus point, I look at things differently, y'all. I really do. I'm like, wait a minute. It is not just about me being in this one show until I die. I want to have a full life. Yes, let's rack up some credits. Let's like do some big things, but also let me give myself permission to find the love of my life and marry him and give him babies and raise those babies and also be a badass boss mom and
I got to tell the story. It's kind of funny. Lisa and I have reconnected after, life happens. We lost contact for a few years. And she's like, I'll show you pictures of my kids. And she gives me her phone. And I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, she's just swipe. She's like, but careful swiping. And as she said that,
oh
yeah, I was like,
it's called Black Hair in the Big Leagues. It's on the Broadway Podcast Network. And it was born out of the pandemic when the Broadway industry had shut down. Lights were dark on Broadway. I was living here in my studio apartment by myself during the pandemic, going crazy, feeling disconnected. I've always loved living alone because I'm always around people. I'm always like giving. And I like that. I enjoy that. But at the end of the night, I'm drained. And so I like to come home to be by myself. But in the pandemic, it was just me. And I was like, well, I've been on Broadway for how many years? I know so many people, Black women. What can I talk about forever? Hair. I can talk about hair for hours on end. And so I started texting my friends being like, hey, can I interview you? I wish I had that growing up, but like it's nice that it's around now. And like my vision for the future is to be able to like see children and adults everywhere with the texture that like their God-given
God gave them.
Yes.
Like, this is the hair that's coming out of your scalp. And this
How
is what
beautiful would that be if everyone just run around with their hair like however it grows out of their head and nobody's shaming them for it.